War Eagle, War Eagle, War Eagle, War Report family. It's your boy C Dub. Stephen Willis of PositivelyOleMiss.com joins us to preview Auburn's big matchup this weekend against the Ole Miss Rebels. We'll do a little facts and all that and more on the latest edition of the Midweek Report. War Eagle, everyone. War Eagle. I'm joined by Ike Jones, B. Will. Mike G is taking another day, but he'll be back soon. We want to welcome you to the latest edition of the Midweek Report, brought to you by show sponsor AuburnSports.com. Please be sure to head over there for the latest regarding news related to Auburn football and Auburn athletics. Shout out to JG Tate and those guys for supporting the War Rapport. I want to thank you guys for supporting us as well. You already know what to do. If you're watching live on replay, please be sure to share this video on Facebook, Twitter. Use the hashtag #GetYourWeightUp, as you can see below. Definitely help people to join our content and help us to grow our community. While you're here, smash that like button. And if you're new to our channel, please be sure to subscribe. As for becoming a patron of the War Report and supporting us monetarily, Ike Jones can tell you exactly how to do that.
Yep, it's a real easy process. All you have to do is click the join button right there below the video. If you're watching this later, it's still below the video, or you can go to the About section and click the join button from there. $5.99 gets you to patron status, where you can come and rewatch the film and take a look at some of the details of the game. Again, I understand that it's painful sometimes to rewatch some of this stuff, but if you do watch the film with me, you get to see some ways where there's still possibly some opportunities for us to get better week to week. And that's really all you can hope for with a young, inexperienced team, is that they improve week to week. So hopefully you guys are enjoying those watch the film sessions. Definitely let me know if there's some things that you'd like to see differently from those. But at least the supporter level will get you to the place where you can do the live chat during game day. So halftime and post game, we limit those chats to members. So you have to be a member to be a part of that. I've been giving you those who are supporters sneak peeks at some of that watch the film stuff. That's going to be going on for one more week. And then when we come back from the bye, I'm going to lock it back down to just being patrons. So $5.99 gets you to that patron level. If you want to gift someone a membership, you can do that. There is a little button there in the chat when you're live chatting to be able to do that as a member. You can pay for the first month of membership on you for someone else here in the War Report community. YouTube does a random assignment to those that interact with our content, giving them a free month of membership on you. Hopefully you all are taking advantage of that, and we've gotten great response from those who've been able to do that. So thank you to those who have purchased memberships. We are giving away an AU t-shirt today. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments. Sponsored by War Eagle Oil. All you have to do is hashtag get your weight up right there in the live chat to be able to be a part of this potential giveaway. We'll do the drawing right around the 1 hour mark. That again is sponsored by War Eagle Oil. Hit up wareagleoil.com for all of your motor oil and motor related products. Wareagleoil.com sponsoring today's AU t-shirt giveaway.
Ike, you did a film review. You actually watched the film again of Auburn against Georgia.
God bless you, bro.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Listen, man, things have to be done.
What did you glean, man? What did you glean moving forward, and your thoughts, your feelings going into Ole Miss week? How are you feeling after watching the film and some things you noticed and saw?
I see it every week. There are opportunities for us to be able to take advantage of things that are there. We just have to stop hurting ourselves, man. We killed ourselves more than Georgia killed us. And Georgia definitely did their fair share of damage. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we would have won that game had we not hurt ourselves. I'm saying it wouldn't have been the blowaway that it was if we had just taken advantage of opportunities that we had, specifically on offense. The defense, there's a lot that we need to work on defensively, and we'll talk about that as we get into the Ole Miss matchup. But offensively, if we can just stop the unforced things like pre-snap penalties, which that's going to be an issue. We're on the road again today, and we can, get our blocking assignments a little bit better, specifically in the pass game, and give Robbie Ashford a little bit more time to make his reads. And he can be a little more patient with his reads. I think we'll have an opportunity for some chunk plays again against Ole Miss this week. We just got to take advantage of them.
B. Will, how are you feeling, man?
Man, don't ask me that.
I mean, the family's good. You good? You know, how's
Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah.
you meant about about football. I mean, we good over here. We good, but I'm looking for some week to week improvement. That's what I'm looking for from us. I want to see us get better week after week. I don't want to see us keep making the same mistakes, putting the ball on the floor for no reason, on the ground, for no reason. I don't want to see the offensive line look as bad as it looked last week ever. I know it's not going to be great. I know it might not be great, but it doesn't have to be as ugly as it was last week. I hope we never see that ever again in the rest of the time that we are talking about Auburn football, and not even on the War Report as friends when we are in our 70s. Like, did you see this game? I don't want to ever be, because we are looking at an offensive line exhibition like what we saw last week. But I really think that was the bottom. That was the bottom floor, and no way to go but up. So I'm hoping to see some positives here going forward, and improved play, continued improved play from the defense, because they've been doing their job this season.
Yeah, indeed. Lance Morgan says, "B. Will, I feel bad your nickname is so close to Will Friend. Can y'all block him? Because he can't teach how to block." Very clever there. The offensive line has definitely been a sore spot for sure this season, and hopefully we can see some improvement there for sure. We'll definitely talk more about Auburn football in the next segment when we preview the matchup against Ole Miss. Guys, let's go ahead and get into predicting some of the matchups elsewhere in the SEC. We can take our attention away from Auburn for the time being. We have the latest scorecard here. Let's kind of give a tally as to where we stand right now. Everyone went 5-1, and as it currently stands,
Kentucky.
So now, yeah. I know, right? I know. I don't think we knew that
Will Levis was going to be out.
The first quarterback to be taken in this upcoming draft was going to be out. We didn't know that. Yeah. So, 37-10. Mike and I are tied for last. B. Will is in second. Ike is still out in front. This will be fun to see what happens as we move forward with predictions today. Let's get to it. Vandy takes on number 1 Georgia in Athens.
Yep.
You Georgia's see the line there. I think we all agree that Georgia's going to win. How do we feel about that spread there?
Yeah, they're going to win handily.
I mean, 38 is a very big spread. What do you know what the over-under is on this game?
Let me give me 1 second. I'll pull that up.
Don't know.
My guess is probably under 50 points. They're expecting Georgia to win and
like a
Vandy not score much at all. But
42-3 type of thing.
Over under is it's 58.5. Interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, so they're expecting Georgia to put up 40-something points in this game. Which is possible. I mean, they put up 40 on us.
49-10.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I think they could cover that. I don't know that they will, but I think they can.
It's possible. It's possible. Okay. Any more thoughts, B? You think they cover?
Every time I think Georgia will cover, they don't. And when I think they won't, they do. So let me say, I don't know. And I will not bet that at all. I would not bet it. I will not bet the over-under or the
I would stay away from the over-under on this game for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And I don't even bet, but if I were betting, I wouldn't do that.
Guys, let's move on to Arkansas on the road against BYU.
This is an
BYU's
interesting
hosted
game.
Arkansas and Notre Dame this year. That's very interesting.
Arkansas has a tough schedule this year, man. I ain't gonna lie. They had a tough traveling to BYU is rough.
Yeah, that's rough right there. That's rough.
What y'all think about this one? And Jefferson is expected to be back for this game.
Okay, he's expected to be back, but they are not good. And I expect BYU to win very narrowly. I think the environment affects at least somewhat, if not the distance of the travel, then the elevation has an effect. BYU at home is like their record is unreal. They almost have as much of a home field advantage as Auburn does by record.
They lost to Notre Dame last week.
They did. They did. Notre Dame's rising. I don't want to take anything away from. They were ugly at the start of the season, but the quarterback got hurt, and then they recollected and they found something. So, because I haven't watched them so intently since they were losing, I just been looking at their stats. I don't want to take it. It's not outside the realm of possibility that a team can improve within the same season that they started very poorly. And because they had enough continuity with their head coach already being on the staff, I think it probably is a case where they got it together after some departures on coaching. So I don't want to say that Notre Dame was just a bad loss for BYU, but I know that Arkansas is bad. I know that they're not good. I'm picking BYU. I'm picking BYU.
Yeah, I think BYU has a good enough defense to be able to make this a tight game, and they have a good enough proficiency at the passer at their quarterback position to put points up. I'm gonna go BYU on this as well.
Yeah,
this is gonna be a close one, obviously, as the line is indicated here. I'm gonna go BYU. I'm gonna go BYU because Arkansas's pass defense is really vulnerable, and BYU can throw the ball. BYU is also vulnerable against the run, but I don't know how healthy Jefferson is, and I don't know how lethal that run game will be with him back. I'm not sure if he's 100%. On the road, I'll go BYU in a close one.
Okay.
Corey Weber asks, is linebacker play a reflection of C-Rob or poor recruiting? Thoughts, gentlemen?
I mean, that's difficult to say about C-Rob this early in his tenure. I think that similar to some other people who coaches thought would take another step, having another year of experience, they just have not done that. Cam Riley getting hurt early in the season definitely didn't pay the dividends. And apparently, I don't know what his health has been, but Eugene Asante missing a lot of camp early with whatever was going on with him. He hasn't stepped in and played many snaps. So, yeah, I think it's more so just been a product of just guys not taking the evolutionary steps that coaches thought that they would. I don't know that that's a coaching issue. I think that's more of the guy.
Right.
So maybe poor recruiting because you thought Wesley Snyder and Owen Papa were going to be something they turned out not to be. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards, I don't want to call it poor recruiting because to a certain extent, I don't think it's possible to tell 100% with certainty that this guy is going to get it on the college level. I think it's almost impossible to know. I think you can go by measurables. You can go by production in high school or even similarities with system if you run certain concepts on offense or defense, but there's just no way to know absolutely. When I get him here, he's going to read and instinctually diagnose because the way somebody plays in high school, it can look like they get it because they know where to be because when you outmatch somebody physically, you can be in the right place just because I could get there before the running back could get there and I'm there. But when the ball handler can move just as fast as you, now you don't know where to be. And the reason you don't know where to be is because you don't have those instincts or you can't read it quickly or read it correctly. And I don't think there's any way to know that. So I don't want to say it's poor recruiting. If you're going to say these guys aren't it and we don't have the guys that are it here on this roster, then it is a recruiting issue. And to, well, let's see, fortunate degree made this. All 3 linebackers are 4-star plus, including 1 5-star. So I'm not sure if this is recruiting. This is part of a argument we're going to have probably in the offseason in great detail, where we're going to look at highly rated recruits coming into college, not just at Auburn, but everywhere. And we're going to see how they shake out, because I'm telling y'all, those star ratings do not mean, in the wash of how they produce on the college level, it doesn't always end up meaning what you think it means. It just doesn't.
Yeah, I'd like to see, if he's healthy, Robert Woodyard and Eugene Asante step in and play a little more snaps for us, because it ain't been there for the linebacker play for me.
Right.
Agreed. Guys, let's move on to the next game. Let's talk about LSU on the road against Florida. The ESPN really likes LSU. They're giving them a 62% chance of winning this game on the road. Your thoughts about this matchup?
You know, I'm going to have to check and see if they are healthy. If Florida's completely healthy. Does Anthony Richardson have a nagging injury? Because based on what I saw from them, now granted, we surprised them with the offense in the sets that we ran, so they had not seen it. They were not able to prepare for it. Anthony Richardson, though, is a dynamic athlete. He is you had this boxed up, but I made something happen type athlete. LSU is not good offensively. They are bad offensively. They aren't as bad as us offensively, because their offensive line isn't as bad as ours. But they aren't good. And Florida's defense is actually it's not great. But I have very little faith in LSU because of what I saw them do, not only against us, but against Tennessee the following week, who also doesn't have a good defense. They're like 10th or 11th in the conference, in conference in total defense. Tennessee is. So if you're getting boxed out by that, by the time somebody has a players only meeting, it's a wrap. It's over with. Y'all, if you got to talk to each other about why y'all bad, that means y'all weren't figuring it out in practice and in games. So I'm betting against LSU and for Florida in this case, especially Florida at home. I think they're probably going to continue to be better at home than they are on the road. So I'm saying Florida wins this.
It wasn't bad on the road against Tennessee,
Well, they got that garbage time touchdown late. It was all right.
Hey, listen, we saw what LSU did at home against at Tennessee. So I'm gonna go Florida here as well. I think they secure the win this weekend.
This is a tough one for me as well. I've got one I can give away. Do I want to take a flyer on LSU? I don't trust LSU yet, man. I don't trust LSU yet. I'm gonna have to go Florida.
Okay.
It's at home too. Yeah, I'm gonna go Florida.
All right. Number 16, Mississippi State at Kentucky. Levis is reportedly going to be back for this game. Maybe. What do we think?
If Levis is back, I think Kentucky wins ugly and narrow. No. I think Mississippi State wins either way. I'm taking Mississippi State either way. Number 1 overall pick or no overall number 1 overall pick.
What was the injury to Levis? It was a foot
I know his
situation.
his finger was messed up. I don't know if it was anything else.
I don't remember what the injury issue was with him. So,
I'm going Mississippi State.
I don't know if I can trust Mississippi State's run defense against Kentucky. Kentucky still has a good defense. I'm gonna give y'all this one back. I'm gonna go Kentucky on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a flyer on Kentucky. I'm still not a Will Levis believer, but I'm gonna go Kentucky.
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about the big matchup that's been hyped up. Game day will be in Knoxville. Alabama travels to number 6 Tennessee. You gotta think about this matchup here. You think about the line, actually.
You know what?
7.5.
I think Tennessee would cover if Bryce Young was playing or not. I would definitely pick Tennessee to cover. Their offense is dynamic. Bama hasn't really been good cover the pass since like 2016. And then people give them this credit for being this all-world defense. But really, their front seven does most of the lifting, and their secondary has been vulnerable like for the last 5 years straight. It's just that very few teams can actually throw it with any type of efficiency or proficiency to hurt them. So they never really get exposed. This will be the first week that they play somebody who can throw well enough to expose them. And I'm guessing that at least keeps Tennessee in this game. I would need to know if Bryce Young is going to play if I pick the winner, though.
Yeah,
if Bryce Young doesn't
hard
play,
not knowing if Bryce is going to play.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to pick Tennessee in this game. Actually,
yeah, I'm going Tennessee here. I'm going Tennessee. I think they get this win. I don't expect Bryce Young to play. I would feel differently if he was playing in this game because Tennessee's pass defense is not good. They're ranked towards the bottom of the FBS.
Right.
But I think if Young isn't playing, then Tennessee's got this one because their
I just
run
find it
defense is
hard, even if Texas A&M didn't seem like they were a formidable opponent, that Bama struggled so much. I mean, a lot of it was mistakes that they made, with a young quarterback. But I don't know. Yeah. It's hard. Like I said, if Bryce Young were playing, or I knew for sure he'd be 100% in playing, I would lean more towards Bama in this game because of Tennessee's pass defense. But yeah, I mean, with the information I have today, I'm going to have to go with Tennessee.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that's every game we got. I think all that's left is our game. So, guys, let us know your thoughts. Any upsets? Who you got against Bama? Do you have Bama going down, or does Bama prevail? Let us know in the comments, especially if you're watching on replay. Guys, if you're on social media, that is Facebook or Twitter, please be sure to share this video. Use the hashtag #GetYourWeight so that people can find our content. Smash that like button while you're watching this. And please subscribe if you are new to our channel. Let's take a quick moment to pause and acknowledge the sponsors of the War Rapport.
This edition of the War Rapport is made possible by our generous sponsors. AuburnSports.com. For news and notes on all things Auburn Sports, head over to AuburnSports.com. Athletic Architects. For young athletes looking to secure their financial future, let Athletic Architects help you to build your financial house. Head over to BuildTheHouse.com. And our giveaway sponsor, War Eagle Oil. War Eagle Oil is your #1 place for all of your motor oil and related products. For more information, visit WarEagleOil.com.
Thanks as always to the sponsors of the War Rapport. We appreciate every one of you who sponsors us in your own special way by coming on board as members of the War Rapport. You can get a membership to the War Rapport just by clicking the join button right down there in the bottom right below the video, and you can decide which level you want to be. We appreciate the patrons because the patrons get to join us in either joy or pain in rewatching games on Mondays when we watch the film, going back and looking at the things that happened from the previous game. We'll be continuing the watch the film session into the basketball season, so if you guys really want to get your basketball knowledge up, make sure you're checking us out as a patron of the War Rapport. But $5.99 per month gets you there. If you are a member, you're able to chat with us on game day, at the halftime, and post-game reactions as well. So we appreciate everyone who has already got a green name in the chat. And if you want to join the green name gang, make sure you go ahead and do that by joining and becoming a member of the War Rapport. If you are a member and you want to gift someone else a membership, you want to give someone else the gift of happiness, which is a membership to the War Rapport, at least 1 month of happiness. You can have that on you. Just click the little gift box there in the live chat, and then you can decide how many memberships you want to give away. YouTube will randomly distribute those to others who do not have green names and give them 1 month free membership on you. So go ahead and do that right down there in the chat. this live stream and every live stream, we're giving away a free piece of merch. Today, it's the AU t-shirt. Hashtag get your weight up in the live chat to be able to be a part of this drawing. We'll be doing that drawing right around the 1 hour mark. That drawing and giveaway is sponsored by War Eagle Oil. War Eagle Oil is your place for all motor oil and motor related products. Head to wareagleoil.com to be able to purchase something from them and get your vehicle in the right situation. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments. We'll be doing that drawing around the 1 hour mark. You have to be present in order to win. Otherwise, we're just going to go on and pick somebody else because we ain't got time for all that. Yeah.
Guys, let's get into it. Let's talk about the matchup this weekend. Auburn goes on the road at number 9, Ole Miss. Ole Miss, who is, are they 6-0 or are they 5-0?
Have they not played 6 games yet this season?
Don't think they. I think I'm showing
so.
them maybe 5-0. They're undefeated. Another way.
Yeah.
Auburn's playing them. That Auburn has an early morning kickoff on ESPN at 11 a.m. Central Time this upcoming Saturday. Ole Miss is favored by 2 scores. The ESPN's Football Power Index is not being so kind to Auburn, and I can understand why if you've seen Auburn play lately. The series record: Auburn leads 35-11. Last year, Auburn managed to win by the score of 31-20. Let's see what happens this upcoming weekend. And to help us preview that, we have a special guest. That special guest being Stephen Willis of PositivelyOleMiss.com joins us to help talk about Ole Miss from his side of the fence. We welcome to our show Mr. Stephen Willis. Stephen Willis, how you doing, good sir?
Doing fairly well, guys. How are y'all doing?
We're doing well. We're doing well.
Good.
We're doing well. How are things over in Oxford these days?
Actually quite good. And if you guys probably aren't paying attention, but in the last 20 games, they're 17-3, and 2 of the losses were when Matt Corral got injured. So things are humming pretty good in Oxford about right now.
And I was wrong. Y'all are 6-0. So yes, things are pretty good, I'm sure. We'll get into talk. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the matchups. B, what you got? We'll go with whatever you bring up. Oh, good. Auburn's offense. All right. We're starting off high.
Yeah.
So let's be clear. I have no idea who the starting offensive line is going to be for Auburn this week. So I just went with, we didn't have any announcements of anybody new on it. So we just went with what they had going last week. But
and based on the reports, Troxel they said he was going to be fine.
Yeah.
And
that doesn't mean he's starting, but he's not hurt. So
right.
But I mean, he's been starting every other game. So I don't know anyway, but that's what we have right now for the starting lineups. We'll see how that goes game time.
Ole Miss defense is respectable. 6th in total defense in the SEC, 31st nationally, allowing a total of 330 yards per game. Rush defense, they're number 4 currently in the SEC, 35th nationally, only allowing 117 yards per game. They're number 10 in pass yards allowed in the SEC, 51st nationally, allowing 212 yards. This is a team that can actually get pretty stingy on the ground. We already know Auburn's issues running the ball. Stephen, tell me about Ole Miss's defense, and it appears like they have taken some steps this year, year 3 of the Lane Kiffin era. Who are some guys who we should be looking out for on the defensive side of the ball?
I think you should pay attention to JJ Pegues, who you guys know very well. He's transitioned to nose guard, and he is performing really well. He's been a handful for centers this year, straight up, because Ole Miss runs, like, as you can see, a 3-2-6 defense. They do that John Haycock stuff from Iowa State, and it's big worry. The way you attack it is basically the way Nick Saban used to play, like with Mark Ingram and Trent Richardson. That style of football is how you attack this defense. Basically, what you guys did last year under Mike Bobo is how you attack this defense. So stopping the run was a major thing for Lane Kiffin in the offseason. So physical DBs like Ladarius Tennyson, Isheem Young, a former Big 12 freshman
You just
of the
gonna
year.
mention everybody who transferred from Auburn over to the Ole Miss defense and say that they're okay. I got you. No,
yeah, no. Well, I'm not trying to do that, but
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah, they brought some physical guys in on that side of the ball to basically replicate a 3-4 defense so they could play well and stern up against the run. And what you see is like Otis Reese, who was a Georgia transfer as well, playing on that outside, playing extremely physical. And I think I've seen this defense described by somebody as a middle school field trip gone awry because it's just violent, undersized people all over the place that will just knock your socks off.
That's hilarious, actually.
Yeah.
Quick, I'm gonna grab this quick super chat here. Ben Bloodworth says, given the quick firing of Coach Corn last year, is the continued employment of Will Friend an admission that the O-line situation is not salvageable?
I don't know what that's an admission of. So here's what I will say is when Will Friend was hired, or it's much been common knowledge that Will Friend was good at offensive line recruiting. Never been touted as some really great tactician of offensive line play. So maybe they feel like they've got some headway with some offensive line recruits, and that's going to be the salvation of Auburn next season is to land. I don't know. I don't have first clue. I'm just be honest with you because I haven't seen it yet, but we'll see.
Yeah. If you were to get rid of him, at this point, who could you go get also?
The consensus, I think, for most people is Brad Bedell steps over and coaches offensive line because he has done it previously. And then you get somebody else to coach your tight end room. Who that would be, I don't know. But yeah, you're asking me to make heads or tails of this offensive line. I can't give it to you.
I don't know why Will Friend is still around, Ben, to answer your question. That's a fair question. Back to the Ole Miss defense. And I guess this is the type of defense they ran last year as well, correct, Stephen?
It is. Just the insane transfer portal that they brought in just kind of beefed up the talent on that side of the ball. You replace a 5'7", 160-pound nickelback with Ladarius Tennyson. That type of physics replacement is really the reason this defense has made the improvement that it did.
For sure.
So, one of the things that Auburn tried to do last weekend was some of the quick throws, but obviously we had some of our issues pre-snap wise in terms of penalties and whatnot. Given what Ole Miss likes to run, what do you think the game plan would be moving forward in this weekend against this type of alignment, this type of defense?
Yeah, it's going to be establish the run. They're going to have to find a way to run the ball against this team because Ole Miss is quick on the perimeter, going laterally or trying to do, sweeps around the outside, probably not going to be as easy to do just because they're going to have the speed to be able to get to a lot of that stuff. You're going to have to get downhill. So they're going to have to figure out a way to shore up something in the middle of that offensive line to get some push and allow for the running backs to get some early. I don't care if it's 4 yards at a time. Again, I talk about, math is math on any playing field. So if you get 3 runs of 4 yards, that's a first down on every field, right? So don't be in love with trying to hit home runs. And I think that, when people talk about the difference between Tank and Jarquez Hunter. Tank sometimes I think wants to hit home runs a lot. So he's trying to be patient and pick his way and be like, oh, there's daylight. Let me go find that. And then sometimes he's doing what he's supposed to do, which is this is where the run's supposed to go. Let me just get there immediately and go fall forward for a couple of yards. And Jarquez Hunter, I think, is just more adept at this type of offense. So when he sees that backside cut a little bit better than Tank does, and he's hard to bring down. So I think this is the game. Mike G would love everything I'm about to say. This is the game where I think Jarquez Hunter needs to be more of the feature back so that you can allow Ole Miss to flow the way that they want to, be speedy to the front side and allow Jarquez Hunter to hit those backside opportunities that will be there if you're able to just kind of just let them flow, and then he can come off the backside of that. So we'll see. We'll see what will happen, but I think that again that it's established the run in this game, or if you're going to let them be fast, then you're going to have to get an effective screen game this for the first time ever.
Yeah.
We're going to have to get an effective screen game this time. So yeah,
Stephen, about Pegues in the middle there, has he been the starter all season long, or has he just come on lately, or how has he been progressing?
He alternates with Katie Hill. Both of those guys will be playing nose guard. He has progressed well. They're both different style nose guards. Katie Hill is that traditional 2-gap mountain of a man, going there and just take them up. Pegues is more like a 3 technique, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever they're doing things that require that, he kind of fits in. He can be a real handful for the guard in the center, whichever gap he decides to go through. So I think it's just almost a personal preference of whatever's going to happen on the defense. And what y'all were talking about Auburn's run game, I was doing a crossover with Zach Blackerby on the Locked On Auburn show.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about it. And I think Ole Miss's goal defensively is to get Auburn in 3rd and 6 plus, not necessarily extended yards, just 3rd and 6 plus.
Yeah.
And I think Auburn's percentage of picking up that 3rd down is about 15 to 20% less than an average team.
Yep.
But if they could get into 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, all of a sudden that running game can be effective, and you have Tank Bigsby and Jarquez Hunter, and all of a sudden you can do to Ole Miss what Vanderbilt did to Ole Miss in the first half. You can play slow. You can be really methodical. You can just move the sticks. And then if Ole Miss turns the ball over, next thing you know, you're up 2 scores on Ole Miss, just like Vanderbilt found itself. The difference is I think your defense is a little bit better than what Vanderbilt has. So in a situation like that, you guys are probably going to be in a little bit better shape, just from the outside looking in.
Okay.
So, Ike, you know what our issues have been. You've been watching.
Mm-hmm.
What does this team do in the second half? What does Auburn do when Ole Miss comes out after the half and they realize this is what Auburn's doing? Here's what we're going to do. What does Auburn do?
If history is any indicator, continue to do the same thing you did in the first half and hope that it continues to work if it has been working. I just don't know that I think we just fall in love with our game plan and we don't adjust particularly well. So if Ole Miss has an effective counterpunch, we're just going to have to hope our defense in the second half is better than they've been previously, because the second half defense has been one that just has not been able to withstand any sort of onslaught from the other team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think, if whatever we've got game planned is not incredibly effective against their defense, and to be fair, I don't expect it to be, because if power run is what's going to move the ball against Ole Miss, I've got to tell you, we've probably the least equipped to perform an efficient power run game than anybody in the conference, honestly. So what we do have is a speedy quarterback and some great running backs. It's not impossible for them to put together a couple of drives that get some points on the board in the first half. But I mean, to your point, can we sustain it when they just switch personnel up a little bit and then they put an extra safety on the field, since they've got, their 6-2-3. Well, what happens then? I don't know. I can tell you that based on how that offensive line has looked last few weeks, my confidence is low. So it would have to be a comedy of errors, really. Ole Miss would have to come out in the second half and shoot themselves in the foot. They have to fumble it like we've been fumbling it the last few weeks. They have to turn it over, passing game. And honestly, and Steve, maybe you could tell me this, I completely expected, once Lane Kiffin gets his California quarterback in the house, I expected him to sling it all over the field. And color me surprised that every game I've watched from Ole Miss, Jackson Dart is running perhaps more than, I don't know if anybody else expect, but he's running quite a bit. Did that surprise you and the Ole Miss faithful?
Honestly, no, because Matt Corral ran it 30 times or something like that against Tennessee last year. Right. That's kind of Lane Kiffin's MO. But against Vanderbilt, Jackson Dart was 25 of 32, 450 yards or something like that, and 3 touchdowns. So if they need to sling it around, they're starting to trend towards being able to do that. And once that happens, I think other teams in the SEC should really be afraid of this offense, because you take Evans and Judkins, then you add in the fact that you're worried about people getting behind you, and all of a sudden they can't rush up to stop that run. All of a sudden I've described this offense as torturing linebackers, and that would absolutely start torturing linebackers.
Oh God.
All right. We'll get into the torture here in just a minute.
Yeah. I'm not ready. Let me come up with some bogus question about our offense, right? Steven, is this kind of an attacking defense, or are they kind of a bend but don't break? Kind of what do they like to do defensively against teams?
They
like
are violent. The issue? They are violent. They are aggressive, but they also are better inside the red zone than outside the red zone. So once you get inside the 20-yard line, you're going to have to max execute, because there's so many defensive backs everywhere. You're not going to get in with a big play. They can cover, once the space condenses, they can cover more of it. But they do blitz. They get down in some 4-down sets. They do some 4-1-6 stuff, to where basically they move Otis Reese over into linebacker and do like a 4-2-5. And Kari Coleman, who is another Big 12 Freshman of the Year former player, comes in, and he had like 3 sacks in his first game, and he is just healthy. Vanderbilt was the first game that he was sort of healthy, so he'll be really healthy in this game. So whenever they want some 4-man looks, they bring him in and put him in a defensive end. They move like Tavius Robinson into a 3 technique, Pegues into the nose tackle, and slide Cedric Johnson down, and it's almost like a cheetah set that they can really get after the quarterback with. So it's really interesting with this defense. There's a lot of Michigan from like 2015 in this defense. If you remember what it was with Jabril Peppers, and back then what the stuff they were doing, that's because Chris Partridge was on that staff. So they're going to do a lot of the same stuff. And David Snigmanosin, by the way, that kid's a dog. He's a true freshman. He started every game at cornerback, and he's going to leave Ole Miss at least an all SEC player. He might be an All-American.
Okay. Got a super chat here before we flip. We can go ahead and flip it. B, we can go ahead and talk Ole Miss offense and our defense. Ben Bloodwork says the last 3 times Auburn lost at Ole Miss, 92, 08, and 12, we fired our coach. In 08, we hired Ole Miss's coach. Does Steve secretly hope we win this one?
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
that was 98. They hired Ole Miss's coach.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do y'all feel about Kiffin? Because every time a job comes open, his name's going to come up. He's a hot name. He's got a big reputation after the Nick Saban rehabilitation program for coaches. And Ole Miss may or may not have, let's say, in quotation marks, the resources, because he's complained about how hard NIL is making it on Ole Miss. Do you worry that it's just a matter of time before Lane gets out the door?
Well, eventually Lane Kiffin's going to be out the door, because there's no such thing as like a Bobby Bowden anymore. So eventually he's going to leave, but I don't think he's going to leave this year. I mean, he's at the point where he's just on the cusp of competing in the West with a lot of these transfer players were like 2 and 3 year eligibility left players. So next year is the year they're actually built for, other than maybe Zach Evans. But yeah, he's going to leave eventually. I don't think he's going to leave this year. And honestly, I don't think he would go anywhere in the SEC. I think it's more likely he goes to the NFL.
You think he wants to go back to that headache again? Or was it just the Raiders that was the headache?
I think it was just the Raiders that was the headache. But yeah, I think that is his thing whenever he gets out of, because I don't think there's going to be any situation where an SEC coach goes to another SEC team anymore. All the teams have too much money now. I mean, Ole Miss can go to $10 or $11 million on his contract if they have to. They couldn't do that in 98. He made the comment about Tuberville moving over. Ole Miss couldn't pay him. Tuberville was fighting with the athletic director. Ole Miss was having indoor practices whenever it was raining. They were going under the stadium. I mean, it was a major resource problem at Ole Miss.
Right.
Now,
Wow.
in 2008, whenever I worked, or 2007, when I worked at Ole Miss, our athletic budget was $30 million. Now our athletic budget is somewhere around 120. So the Ole Miss that everybody remembers and just assumes it is doesn't really exist anymore.
Okay.
And I think that's going to surprise people because they're like, oh, yeah, Auburn's open. They can just go to Ole Miss or Mississippi State. Both of those schools have money now. I mean, tons of money. And it's just the fact that, you know, once these TV contracts happened, these athletic departments got rich. Yeah. And now Ole Miss, probably a more wealthy athletic department than, I don't know, 85% of the country. Crazy.
So why was Lane complaining as it pertains to like recruiting and whatnot? If based on that, what was Lane's deal there?
That's a Nick Saban thing. Nick Saban doesn't.
He's spinning it a little bit.
Yeah, he did that before Kentucky also about attendance, and people all talked about attendance, and then all of a sudden Ole Miss was completely sold out against Kentucky and rowdy as heck.
Right.
It's all about Saban just whining, hey, come on, I don't know what I'm going to do if you don't show up. I just want you to show up. And all of a sudden they're rowdy and everything's fine. It's one of those things you can't really trust the thing a media says about him. He's going to come up for every job. The Oregon State job can come open this year. Lane Kiffin will be mentioned for it. So you can't take these media reports too seriously.
Well, now that we flipped the field, we have the offense here. It seems like Jackson Dart is your guy. I know there was a little bit of debate as to who the guy was going to be, but it looks like he has settled in just nicely. I think you lost you there. Okay. I think it looks like Dart has settled in just nicely.
I can't touch another window without it messing up. That's my bad.
It looks like Jackson Dart has settled in just nicely. And he's the guy now. And it seems like he's getting more and more control of the offense week in and week out. So just how and the guy who kind of surprises me on this offense was a guy that we actually was trying to recruit a year or so ago in Quinshon Judkins. I remember when he actually committed to Ole Miss, but he appears to be, he's your leading rusher at 581 yards total for the season. Just talk about how efficient this backfield has been so far.
It's been unbelievably efficient. If you look at what Lane Kiffin did last year when Ole Miss went to the Sugar Bowl, they had 18 players on their roster 4-star or higher. Now they have about 33. And the talent infusion is just, you can just see it. There's been years past when Vandy comes out last week and just punches Ole Miss in the mouth, and the talent difference isn't such that you can't really dig out of that hole. Well, Ole Miss went on a 42-8 run, and it was actually fairly easy to do that they got done. Zach Evans, a former number one running back in the country in the 2020 class. He was a Georgia commit that for a lot of weird stuff ended up at TCU, and now he transferred to Ole Miss. Quinshon Judkins, there's a picture of Lane Kiffin at the Alabama State Championship last year. He's sitting in those cold metal bleachers, bundled up, obviously cold, by himself. There's nobody in the stands, and he's watching that, and they're like, what is that going? Well, now we know why he was doing what he was doing, because that kid, when I saw him in his recruiting, I was like, he's TJ Yeldon. That's what he is. He's TJ Yeldon at Alabama. This is a kid that Auburn or Alabama did not let out of the state before. I don't know how we're getting him. What's going on? And then he gets to Ole Miss, and he's an angrier version of TJ Yeldon. I mean, he walked in to the point where we're starting to talk about him as like a 1A to Zach Evans being the starter. I mean, he's a phenomenal player, and I mean, I don't know if I would trade Zach Evans for him.
Talk about your receivers. Who's the guy here? I think Mingo is your leading receiver. I think he has 407 yards on the season. But let's talk about how these receivers have performed so far.
They performed admirably. Jonathan Mingo, he has 507 yards receiving. He's averaging at 23 yards per catch. He's leading the SEC in receiving right now. He's the guy that whenever you start peeking in the backfield to try and stop Zach Evans, He's the one that burns you over the top. There's those Lane Kiffin shot plays. He's the one they're called for in this offense. Jordan Watkins is the slot receiver. And with Michael Trigg getting injury, you can see Casey Kelly over at tight end. The middle of the field being important is probably going to be Jordan Watkins' territory. Keep an eye on him. He's a little fast dude. He catches the ball and can be gone pretty quickly. Malik Heath, a former Mississippi State transfer. I still have no idea how that happened. He's been here 6 games, and that's just weird to me. But Malik Heath is just that steady receiver. Our receiving core, our starting 3, they're really good. And I don't know the last time y'all saw a really good receiving core from Ole Miss, considering last year all 3 of them were hurt.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. I'm looking at Jackson Dart, and he's turned the ball over a little bit at times. Has that been a result of just pressure, not seeing the deep? What has been the issue with him in turnovers? And was that something that was just early on in the season, or has it been kind of throughout the season so far?
He had 2 horrible throws against Vanderbilt. He had 30 absolutely gorgeous throws, but 2 horrible throws. It's not really about pressure. The Ole Miss offensive line has given up 2 sacks this year. And so it's more about Jackson Dart thinking he can make every pass in the book. And he is really close, but he has a lot of, I guess, Brett Favre in him from the NFL. He will try a throw, and sometimes that gets him in a little bit of trouble, and it will cause you to pull your hair out. But it's a situation to where part of Auburn's game plan needs to be Jackson Dart needs to throw me a couple of them. I mean, that needs to be a thing. But Jackson Dart has all the talent in the world. He's the first Gatorade National Player of the Year that's ever played at Ole Miss. Whenever he throws the ball, it just looks different. And you can just see that in 2023, he's going to be the dude in the league.
Ike, you had some concerns defensively, some things that we needed to work on this weekend. What is your concern defensively with us?
I mean, it's the same concern I've had for the last couple of weeks, and it's what are our linebackers going to do? Like, this run game from Ole Miss is nothing to be played with. And they're going to run to and through anybody who's trying to tackle them. So you can't just come to the party with your arms. You got to bring your pads too. And if we're out there trying to arm tackle and hope to, it's going to be a long day, man. It's going to be a long day if our linebackers are not assignment sound, and when they get there, they're not making tackles. And if the run game starts getting the way that Lane Kiffin wants it to be, then you're going to be guessing wrong a lot with your safeties, and then it's going to be over the top city. So it's really going to start with whether or not our linebackers are where they need to be, and when they arrive, are they making tackles? In my opinion.
You
just made me sad. B, any thoughts on this?
I'm sad now too. I look at Ole Miss's offensive output, and like Steve said, they threw the ball quite a bit last week, but every week before that, pretty much they were running like crazy on people. I saw Judkins running on people in that Kentucky game. I said, damn it, it's 2 of them.
Right? I know, right?
Jeez. I mean, we've talked about it, week after week here. And Steve, if you did any type of scouting on us, our linebackers. You remarked that if y'all's passing game got going, it might make our linebackers' lives hell. Our linebackers been in hell all season, man. You don't even y'all passing game don't have to get going for that to be the case. It's just been rough, inexperience, and thinking too much. Missed assignments. It's a mess, and it's why I think this game is probably going to be, combined with the fact that a power running game is what is best suited to defeat Ole Miss's defense. A power running game or a proficient running game where you make the linebackers have to guess a little bit. That's our weakness right now. Otherwise, if you were going to throw the ball all game, if this was Western Kentucky we were playing, which is, we do play them this year, I feel good about it because our secondary is phenomenal. Our pass rush had been very good. I think we got maybe 1 or 2 sacks last week, but even with some injuries, we have been playing phenomenal since after the Penn State game for about 3 straight weeks. And then our secondary has been coming on week after week, but y'all run the ball good. We don't do so great against the run. So I think it's probably going to be a long game for us.
Yeah, what y'all think about the front four? I know we had some injuries. Brad got injured. Hall got injured. What do we think about pressure up front with the front four?
Yeah, I mean, I think our front four has played admirably this year. I'm not super concerned about them. I think they can be disruptive. Kobe Wooden has started to show signs of the Kobe Wooden I wanted to see all year from him. Marcus Harris has been solid up front. Derek Hall has given his everything out there on every single play. You can tell that he's frustrated with the way that this team has been able to finish games. Jason Jones hasn't splashed as far as stats are concerned, but I think he's been solid. He's occupying the gaps that he's supposed to. I would love to see him fully healthy. I think that arm is still bothering him a little bit. He hurt his arm pretty early on in the season. Might have even been before the first game, but I'd love to see him completely healthy out there and see what he can do. I love what Marcus Bragg has been able to do. Jeffrey Emba is raw. He's a super physically gifted person, but he's still very raw up there. So I haven't seen a lot of, but I don't have a ton of concern about what we're putting on the defensive front. Like I said, my concern is when you get to that second level.
Stephen Rustin Robinson asks, Chad Kelly playing tight end for Ole Miss this week. Has there been any issues with?
That's his brother, Casey Kelly.
Yeah, I was about to say it's not Chad
Kelly.
Yeah. Casey Kelly is a good run blocker, struggles in the pass game a little bit. I would expect whenever you see number 13 at tight end, he has a little bit of athletic ability. He's a true freshman, but he's green on the blocking side, so it's probably just it's probably going to trend over to passing whenever do that. But he's the guy that would come in whenever they need to throw the ball. Either that or they're going to get into – it's about time for 20 personnel to show up on this football team with Zach Evans and Quinshon Judkins in the backfield at the same time.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You're making me sad again. Anyway, any other thoughts before we get to the drawing on in terms of the defensive matchup versus the Ole Miss's offense?
Yeah, I mean, the only other thought I have is we have an opportunity in this game, I think, to correct a lot of narratives. So I won't say correct, but change a lot of narratives if we come out and establish ourselves and turn Ole Miss into a passing team somehow and stay stout, because we've been good against the run early in games. Games, it's just been fatigue as you get later into the game and you're getting more snaps that you start to see guys out of gap integrity. And Ole Miss is going to want to go fast, and they're going to want to make you play not instinctively but reactively. And when they have you on your heels, that's when you start to make those mistakes and you're second guessing what you need to see in front of you. Auburn needs to get them into third and long scenarios and try to get 3 and outs as much as possible. But it's going to be incumbent, not so much on the defense, but the offense to put up points early and get them out of their game plan, which is run and go fast, run and go. Like that's what they want to do. They want to run and they want to go fast. And it's not that they don't want to pass the ball, but what they fundamentally want to do is run and go fast. And so you have to get them in third and longer scenarios, get stops, get off the field, and your offense has got to put up points when you do that. That's really your chance to win that ball game.
Well said. Stephen, how are you doing on time? Are you good?
I got a couple more minutes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, guys, you want to go do the drawing now?
Yeah, let's get to it. All
right.
Pull that guy up.
Well, guys, as Ike is pulling that up, we are giving away an AU t-shirt courtesy of War Eagle Oil. Please be sure to drop hashtag Get Your Weight Up in the comments to enter to win. Hopefully you've done it already, because we're not waiting. Ike is ready to draw right now.
Yeah, let's get to it, man. Hashtag Get Your Weight Up is what you guys were supposed to be doing there. The drawing is upon us. It is going to be going this week courtesy of War Eagle Oil to Derek McClellan. Derek, let us know if you're still here in the comment section so that we can get your shirt out to you.
Congratulations, sir. thought I saw a chat here, but I think I may have missed it. All right, so I did see it. Ben Bloodworth says he's already ready for facts or nah.
All right, yeah, we'll go get that.
So we'll grab that in a minute. B has jumped out. You want to go ahead and just do facts or nah there, Ike?
Yeah, let's talk about it. All right. So those of you who know, we do a segment here sponsored by the Rogue Shop called Facts or Nah. Steven, this is your initiation into Facts or Nah. We're going to ask a couple of questions, and we just want you to respond whether this is factual, yes, this will happen, or nah, that's not going to happen during this game. And so when we get into that portion, just give us your honest opinion and why you gave that answer. This is sponsored again by Rogue Shop. RogueShop.com is your place for all of your herbal supplement needs. So hit up rogueshop.com. Use code Rapport to get 15% off of your purchase. Let's get straight into this Facts or Nah style, sponsored by the Rogue Shop. All right, we are here, as always, Facts or Nah, sponsored by rogueshop.com. We're going to get this kicked off like this in grand fashion and ask the question, facts or nah? Auburn is able to limit Ole Miss to under 200 yards rushing in this game. What do we think?
That's a nah.
We'll start with C. C, go for it.
I'm looking on Steven's paper, and I'm gonna say nah. And I think it's because I think we look good early in the game. I think our run defense is pretty good early in the game, but the issue with our defense is time of possession. And the fact that the offense may not be able to move the ball enough, and keeping our defense on the field will allow them to wear down in the second half. We saw what happened last week against Georgia with the floodgates open late in the second half. Something similar like that could happen with Ole Miss, and the way they like the tempo and run the ball, Auburn gets fatigued. I can easily see how this will become an issue where the guys get gassed and get gashed on the ground. So I'm going to go nah here, unfortunately.
All right, jump in there, Steven. What you got?
I think this is a big time nah, actually. Ulysses Bentley IV is supposed to be back for this game. And for those that don't know what's going on, he was an all-conference player in the American last year. He's our third string running back. And he comes in against tired defenses, and he is, think Jerry and Ely. That's kind of what he is. I think he busts out a big one in the second half. I think Ole Miss ends up 220, 230 yards rushing, somewhere around there.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go nah on this one. You guys know how I do it. Until I see it, I can't believe it. I am definitely a seeing is believing type of person. And after 6 games this season, I have yet to see Auburn's defense be stout against the run for 4 quarters. I don't believe that this is the game against one of the better run teams in our conference. I mean, really in the nation, that this is going to be the game that happens. They're going to need a lot of help from their offense with long drives to keep the ball out of Ole Miss's hands. And I just haven't seen that yet from our offense either. So I'm going to have to go nah on keeping them under 200 yards for this game.
All right, gentlemen, facts or nah? Jackson Dart throws at least 1 interception in this game this weekend. What you guys think?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to happen, and it's going to be inexplicable, but the key will be that the other parts of the game is where you want it to be. You don't want it to be a trend, but yeah, he'll throw 1 to Auburn in this game.
I think I'm going to go facts on this one as well, just because I need to see it. We need to get turnovers at the rate at which we've been turning over the ball. We need to be able to get takeaways on this defense. I've been waiting on my guy, DJ James, to come down with one all season. I think this is the game he does it for me. DJ James is going to get his first interception of the season this game. I'm going to go facts. We get the interception from Jackson Dart this week.
Yeah, I'm going to go facts here as well, given that what we know to be true about Jackson Dart, that he tends to take chances. He'll try to take some chances on our defense, and I think it will cost him at least once in this game. Also, Auburn needs to help its offense out, so the defense needs to do what it can to flip the field, turn the ball over. That would help tremendously. So I'm going to go facts here.
All right. All right, we're gonna get into some of these fan questions here and see what you guys have been saying in the comments. I see a lot of sarcastic ones in here, but if you guys have some real ones, go ahead and hit us with some in the chat, and we'll get to those questions. By the way, we do have our winner here, Derek McClellan. He is here. So Derek, thank you for being a faithful supporter of the War Report, and hit us up.
Business at the War Report.
Yeah, Business at the War Report. We need your shirt size and your address in order to get that shirt out to you. But yeah, let's get to these facts or nah questions here.
Ben Bloodworth, facts or nah, Ole Miss wins the Egg Bowl this year.
Ooh, the Egg Bowl. We're going all the way to the Egg Bowl already. Steven, how you guys feeling about the Egg Bowl?
Ben is already over this game, so he wants to talk about the Egg Bowl. So what you got, Steven?
Yeah, Ole Miss is going to win this game. Mike Leach is 1-9 out of his last 10 again rivalry games, and that'll continue.
Is that a road game for Mississippi State, or y'all?
Yes, it's in Oxford.
Oh, okay.
It looks like it's gonna be a fun Thanksgiving night, though.
Oh yeah, y'all do play that on Thanksgiving for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Reeves says facts or not, Auburn scores points in the second half.
I'm gonna say facts on this one, man. I have faith, because again, I saw it happen last week, so now I can say that we can do it again. I do think that we'll have the ability to at least put some points on the board in the second half. What I'm really hoping is that we have an offensive explosion in the first half, and then we can weather the storm similar to last year's game against Ole Miss in order to get the W. But I'm going to go facts on that one.
Listen, I'm going facts. Listen, last week I sunshine pumped, and I was like, no, Auburn's going to score. In fact, they're going to score 10 points in the second half. And I used all my faith in Auburn scored just 10 points for the game in the second half. So I need to split it out evenly so we can get a little bit more points. So I'm gonna go facts. I do think we score. I don't know if we score enough, but we will score in the second half for sure.
Yeah, they'll score in the second half. That's facts.
Okay. Next one we got Don L here. Is facts or not? Auburn converts a 4th and long on one of the sarcastic ones on their own 25-yard line.
They faking a punt?
I'm gonna go nah, because I don't think Auburn should go for it on their own 25-yard line.
Touching this question.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin would.
Oh yeah.
Lane Kiffin is
crazy. He's psychotic.
He doesn't really care where he goes for it on 4th down. He's just like,
he's gonna look at the folder. The guy's gonna look at him, give him the thing. Does he still carry the folder?
Yes, the folder's back there, but I'm convinced that folder doesn't mean anything. He just blames his
I don't think it does
on
either.
that folder.
I don't think it does either.
There's no book in the world that says you should go for it on 4th and 7 on your own 20-yard
It's literally
line.
just a folder. You open it up and it has one page printed on it that says go for it.
Yeah.
The book of Kiffin is what we're going to call it.
But I assume once you get fired in an airport tarmac, all of a sudden your give a crap goes away.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. Okay. See what you did there. Next one I see here is from Lawrence Robinson. Facts or not, Auburn gets a non-offensive touchdown. Ooh. So that could be scoop and score, pick six, or special teams.
Yeah. I don't know how has Ole Miss's special teams been this year as far as punt recovery. I mean punts, kickoff, all that. How's it looked? I haven't even really been paying attention to that.
They have an Aussie. They're not many giving up much on the return side.
I know they gave up one big one against Kentucky where they thought he was trying to signal a fair catch or something like that, but that's the only thing.
That was a kickoff return. Return. There's been some issues, so that's probably where you have the chance to make the most hay in that scenario. I don't look at them as a pick six because honestly, they throw the ball down the field. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be hitting with a quick out or something like that where you can pick six it, and I don't think they're going to put it on the ground in this game necessarily, but they might. But it's not something I would bank on. I'd go nah on this one.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards nah on this one as well. I mean, the guy who I've been looking to do something explosive in our special team scenario has been Keontae Scott. He's primarily a punt returner. Though Jarquez Hunter is back there to return kicks, and I don't put anything past Jarquez Hunter. I think Jarquez Hunter could probably bench press or squat the entirety of Ole Miss's team if he wanted to. I don't know that that's going to happen this game. I'm going to go with Nah on the non-offensive touchdown.
Same. I'm going to go Nah as well. Lawrence Robinson says, facts or nah, Tank gets over 100 yards. Seems to be putting on a show against Ole Miss. He seems to like putting on a show against Ole Miss. I'm going nah on this one. But what do you guys think?
Over 100 yards. Again, I haven't seen it happen for Tank. This seems like the type of game that they're going to want to get Tank Bigsby going. And if he gets going early, he 100% can get to 100 yards just because he's that kind of back that if you feed him once he gets going, I think Ole Miss is going to be committed to stop that from happening. I think it's more likely that Jarquez Hunter goes over 100 yards in this game than Tank Bigsby. I'm going to go nah.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go nah. Against Kentucky, Craig Rodriguez was 18 for 72. They genuinely tried to get him going. Not much success there. Their whole offense, if it wasn't for Barry and Brown against Kentucky, Ole Miss would have won that game by 3 touchdowns. I mean, they would have had 200 yards of offense. I mean, he was their offense. Now, he's part of their team. He counts, but that just shows how well they played in that football game. Anyway, guys, I need to jump off.
No problem. Well, we appreciate you jumping in. Real quickly, just tell people where they can check out all your stuff.
All right. I'm the host of the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. We talk about Ole Miss. We've been covering Auburn over the last week, as you can expect. You can go back and do that. Tomorrow, we will have a crossover with Zach Blackerby from Locked On Auburn. You can see my stuff there. And you do not want to turn into Friday's podcast, as that'll be all about why Ole Miss should win the game.
Nice.
Well, we appreciate it, Steven, man. We'll definitely be talking to you soon, man.
All right. Appreciate it, bud.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Well,
all
Ike,
right.
do we still want to continue?
Yeah, why not? Well, if you guys have some more stuff that you want to talk about,
go ahead and send it. Go ahead and send it. Keep sending them, guys. We'll go. We'll keep going with some of these. Lawrence Robinson says, facts or not, Auburn wins the turnover margin. This is a good one.
Gosh, I want to say facts on this one, but I don't have any have we won the turnover margin in any game that was not Missouri?
Were we even? I think we were even last week.
Let's see. We had the one fumble from Robbie. We forced a fumble. We didn't have any other turnovers.
Yeah, I think
we drew even against Georgia.
We drew even. I'm gonna go nah. I don't think we win the turnover margin.
I would 100% love a game, because even with like the Missouri game, right? Like we had a bunch of almost turnovers in that game. Like I'd love a game where we just don't fumble the ball at all, not just lose the fumble, but just don't fumble it, and don't almost throw a pick. I'd just be happy with that. Like even if we didn't get a turnover in the game, I would just be happy if we just took care of the ball for the entirety of a game. That would feel really good.
Yeah, same here. Same here. John Brandon says, facts or not, we stay under 65 yards in penalties.
Yikes. Gosh, you guys are
these
all
are painful.
Of the painful.
These are painful.
Yeah.
This is painful. But this is relevant, unfortunately. This is where we are.
I mean, we're on the road again. I'm hoping that the offensive line has settled a little bit more. We're gonna, I'm assuming, try out the same 5 starters on the offensive line this time. 65 yards of penalties. I am going to say, oh Lord, I have to say nah, because I just haven't seen it yet. I mean, between holding penalties and some kind of stupid defensive penalty that prolongs a drive, or bogus pass interference calls, I can't. Yeah, I'm gonna go nah.
Yeah, we actually stayed under 65 yards last week. There was 10 penalties, but we were at 60 yards.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. I'm going to go facts here. I think we do stay under 65. I would like to see us, especially now. What will happen is if we're not, it's possible we can get some pass interference type penalties. Now that could hurt us.
Yeah.
Hopefully we stay disciplined. There's no unsportsmanlike type penalties. That could definitely shoot those yardage up. But if we're getting penalties, hopefully they're the 5-yard type of variety. So hopefully we play a cleaner game, and that will result in us easily coming up under 65. I'm going to go facts because those are one of the things that needs to go right, because this game is going to be very, very tough for us in some aspects. So
yeah, I mean, and that's to your point, a lot of what we had were the 5-yard variety against Georgia. A lot of pre-snap procedural penalties that resulted in those 10 penalties. So I think we had way too many of those that put us in first or second and long, or took us out of third and short. So hopefully we've cleaned that up this week, and we'll have an opportunity to get our offense moving in the correct direction.
Right. Woolby says, facts or not, Dart puts up more offense than Eli Manning did in his Auburn win.
I'm just out of pure, I need it to happen, I'm gonna go nah.
Same. I don't have much to add there.
Yeah.
Erica Ratney says, facts or not, Robbie gets a touchdown in this game.
Facts.
Which variety? Both or?
I think that he will get a rushing touchdown in this game.
I'm going facts here as well. I actually think he gets 2. I think he runs it in, and I think he drops it off to a running back, or he throws a short pass and someone runs it in. So I think he throws and runs for 1 in this game. So facts for me. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's about it. We appreciate everybody. Facts or not, every week we're going to try to get these done. But let's get back over into, once again, sponsored by Rogue Shop. Head to rogueshop.com and use code Rapport on your purchase to get a little some off of that.
Yeah, man, I'm just, obviously you can tell we're feeling really optimistic about this game, but it's because there are some glaring issues, particularly up front. I mean, the story of our issues has just been the offensive line, injuries, guys playing out of position, the lack of synergy along the offensive line. Hopefully they're able to address some of the pre-snap stuff that occurred last week, and they can play a better game. Hopefully they're able to drown out the crowd noise and play ball. Linebacker play, hopefully they can be focused and handle their gap responsibilities. But
yeah, I mean, listen, I know it sounded like a lot of gloom and doom, but let me be clear. Auburn has a path to victory in this game. Auburn absolutely has a path to victory. I've talked about it. It's established the run. As much as that seems like a thing that we're not able to do, Steve talked about it. Ole Miss is a little undersized. They're a little undersized up front. So we do have the ability to get physical with their front, but they do have a quick front, right? And so what you're going to have to do is make sure that you're sound in what you're doing, or you're going to just have to let them wash and do some things to take advantage of the fact that they want to play quickly on defense. So we do have a path. If Ole Miss allows us to establish the run in this game, that's going to be a huge problem.
How do you see Auburn establishing the run? I mean, I don't see where we've been able to run up the middle at all. So how would we establish the run given the personnel we have? How do we do it?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I feel like Jarquez Hunter is more suited to be the 100-yard rusher in this game, because what you're going to have with Ole Miss is fast and flow. So if we're running, like a stretch zone concept, right, and everything is a long stretch play that's going to the left, Jarquez Hunter bends that back to the right, and he gets out in the open field. He's just going to be hard to tackle because, again, they're undersized back there. So him against a small cornerback linebacker, I'm going to take that in favor of Jarquez Hunter. So if we're able to do that and we're able to get ourselves into these third and short scenarios, then you make it where Robbie Ashford as a runner becomes that much more dangerous. Robbie Ashford as someone who steps up in the pocket and draws your linebackers in and then throws something over the top becomes more dangerous. So establishing the run to me is going to be more so about being physical up front and not allowing yourself to be out leveraged, because what Ole Miss is going to want to do is they're going to want to shoot gaps quickly and be disruptive in the backfield. So you're going to have to play a lot of that gap stuff that allows them to flow and then run back against the grain on it. So hopefully the cutback lanes will be open there. It's really going to be incumbent on, if we're going to be doing pulling schemes or having the tight ends block on those trap plays, whether or not we're able to secure those blocks effectively, more so than it will be at the point of attack. Because again, they're going to be quick through those gaps, but you have to be able to flow against that. So hopefully we'll come in prepared to do that.
Anthony Grant asks, have you guys heard that Dawson is shutting it down for the season?
I have not heard anything about that. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's fallen down the depth chart pretty significantly there. Jay Fair has gotten more snaps of recent. Javarius Johnson has been more effective, I think, than most people thought that he would be in assuming that starting position from him. So that would not be a shock to hear that he would be shutting it down.
Yeah, indeed. Well, guys, I don't think we have anything else. Ike, you want to tell the people how they can become a patron, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys just know you need to click that join button to get a green name there. We're going to be doing the game day experience. So pregame, halftime, postgame, halftime and postgame being member only. So you have to have a green name in order to chat with us during that. Hopefully we have some great things to talk to you all about, despite what seems to be an overwhelming amount of people who are not enthusiastic about this game. Hopefully the team gives you something to cheer about, and we have something positive to come in here and talk about in the post game. Specifically halftime, I really don't care how good we're playing. I want to see what the final score is, and hopefully we have something good to talk about there. But $5.99 per month gets you there. Just click the join button to come on board with that. If you are a member, you can give memberships to someone else. Just click the gift box there, and then click how many memberships you want to give away. YouTube will randomly assign those memberships to someone else. If you didn't get an opportunity to win your merchandise today, and congrats to our merchandise winner, sponsored by, again, War Eagle Oil, you can go to our website. That's thewarreport.com. Click on shop, and you can go and shop with us and purchase your own merchandise there. You can also look at all of the articles that we have available for you there. Some great information there about all things concerning Auburn. And we are the Auburn Express, powered by the War Report, on any podcast platform. If you want to listen to this stuff again and not have to use the YouTube app, we're there for all of your podcast stuff. We do rebroadcast these lives, and we have some pod specific content that you can only catch at the Auburn Express.
Guys, we appreciate you hanging out with us. If you so happen to be watching after the fact, we need you to do us a favor, guys. You can still do this. If you're on social media, Facebook, share this video, use the hashtag #GetYourWeightUp, or even add us. That'll help as well. Please be sure to smash the like button. And if you're new to our channel, we want you to subscribe. Also, guys, I mentioned social media. I mentioned Facebook and Twitter. We're also on Instagram as well, at The War Report. You can also find us at TW Rapport on TikTok. That's it for now, guys. We will definitely catch you early morning. We're going to have a 10:30 pregame show hosted by Prize Picks, brought to you by Prize Picks. Well, we'll actually be doing some picks as well. Definitely check that out. Guys, enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you then on game day. Until then, War Eagle.